My brother uninvited me from his wedding, so I canceled his venue reservation. Petty.
If you can't be at his wedding, there won't be a wedding.
If I can't go,
No one can.
So, I, 37 male, have a younger brother, Tom, 26 male, who's getting married in 3 months. A year ago, he and his fiancée were planning their wedding. They were struggling to find an affordable venue, so I own a vacation property with a large yard that used to be for a couple of small weddings before. So I offered it to him as a wedding venue, rent-free.
Whoa, that's nice.
Dude, you were saving half of the money you're putting
saving
on a wedding.
a lot of money on a venue.
My only condition was that I wanted to be a part of the wedding party, which he agreed to. Everything seems fine. As a brother, you have a right away to be in the wedding party.
Yeah, why aren't you gonna be why aren't you gonna be one of the groomsmen already?
Yeah,
what's up with that?
That is
why did
weird.
you have to pay your way into the position?
You had to venue your way in. By the way, this comes from Aromatic Cow 8170 on the Best of Redditor Updates subreddit. So, last week, Tom and I got into a small argument. It really wasn't a big deal, but a couple of days later, he texted me and said he and his fiancée decided to downsize their wedding party, and I was no longer going to be a groomsman.
Well, OP's about to downsize your wedding.
Yeah, your venue.
Your venue's
Ooh.
gone. You can go use his shack for all he cares.
Since you don't need that many people.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, there's less people in your wedding, so you don't need the space.
Exactly. I was shocked because I thought this was set in a stone a year ago. I called him to ask what's going on, and he said it wasn't personal, just that they wanted to keep things small and intimate and didn't feel like they needed me in the wedding party. I was pretty hurt. I didn't say anything at the time. Then it occurred to me, if I'm not important enough to be at his wedding party, why should I host the wedding at my place? So I called him again, and I told him that since I wasn't going to be a part of the wedding, they need to find another venue.
I think it's petty, but I think honestly that's kind of deserved.
It was the deal.
That was the deal. They made the deal. If you're gonna back out of the deal, that's on you.
That's true. It was the deal. Tom and his fiancée are furious. They say they can't afford another venue at this point and that I'm ruining their big day. My parents are also upset and say I should just let it go and still host the wedding.
Yeah, because everybody wants to not pay for it. They're like, oh, well, we don't want our kids to have to pay for their wedding. And the kids are like, we just want to have our wedding for free. And OP's like, well, you're just taking advantage of me now.
Yeah. The only way I would be okay with not being in the wedding party if I got a new role that was fun and cool.
Yeah. You got a new exciting role
I'm the
that
DJ
no one
now.
else has.
I'm the DJ now. I get to call the shots.
You're the priest.
I get to do a speech. Oh,
Yeah.
and the priest.
You're the priest.
DJ,
You're all
priest,
three.
and speech.
Mm.
I would do that. I feel like I was doing them a huge favor.
Yeah, you were. You were giving them a venue for free.
That's
that would have
the
been
most-
so expensive.
Yes, it's the most expensive part of the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they essentially uninvited me from being a part of the most important day of their lives. I don't think I'm in the wrong. Retract my offer. But now everyone is making me feel guilty. So, am I the a-hole for canceling the venue? We do have an edit. Edit! This is basically an update. To answer a few questions I see repeatedly. Number 1, why did I need to offer to loan out my vacation house to be in the wedding? Repeating one of my comments, my brother and I have had a little bit of a rocky relationship most of his life. I like that it says his life and not our life. Our age difference has always been an awkward amount, and I think he's jealous of my success in life too.
Is OP older?
He's
Okay.
like 37 and the brother's 26.
Oh, okay.
It's like 10
so
years
it's like 10
apart.
years, which does, that can be kind of hard to like have a relationship with your sibling when they're that much younger.
I hope my brothers don't think of me like that. I'm like 13 years older than them, 11.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, I hope they don't think. He's done okay, but I've climbed in the corporate ladder pretty quickly in finance, and I think a lot of girls he's dated have had crushes on me being his older brother and the more successful one, and that bothers him. He picks small things to get mad at me because of his jealousy, and I felt like if I made it a condition of lending out my place, he would let me be in his wedding.
I don't know. I I think it's just like a little bit weird that you like that they're not at the point already to just have him be in the wedding, you know, like, and like without having to bribe him to be in the wedding.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's totally not okay for the brother to say after the fact, after he already like agreed to let OP be in the wedding if he got the wedding venue space, and then to go back on the word.
Mhm.
But I think looking kind of back on it, do you even want to, you know, give him the venue space if he doesn't like, if he's not really thinking of you as, you know, a person that he wants to be with him on his special day and stuff?
It sounds OP wants to mend the relationship.
Yeah.
The relationship is very transactional.
Yes.
I'm successful. The brother is jealous that he's successful. It's all in terms of money and what
now
you
he's
have.
still, but I feel like in trying to mend the relationship on OP's side, he's trying to mend it through money.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
mend it with the venue. Like, hey, this is something. Let me be in your wedding party.
Which I don't think that's gonna be like it's not working. Like so I guess I have two separate things. I think that OP is justified petty, but also I think it's just not the best way to try and improve your relationship if you wanted to do
You
that.
can't have a relationship built off of
Money,
things,
yes,
objects.
giving people things,
built off
and
of memories.
basically bribing him to, you know,
Yeah.
be in his wedding party.
So, number 2, what did you get into an argument about? He got upset at me because he thinks I don't do enough with our parents, but I travel for my job, so it's harder for me to be there in person. Okay, I do have a friend that's in finance, and they travel so much, it's kind of crazy. I also help them financially, which he never considers as helping out. So the brother seems like the brother values quality time while the OP values giving. And I guess he doesn't see it as the same thing. They haven't saved as much as they probably should and are getting closer to retirement, so I help them out with some bills so they can put more in their 401k accounts instead. But I guess that isn't enough. He always finds something to say I'm doing wrong. Number 3, are you still invited to the wedding? Technically, he only said I'm not going to be in the wedding party, but it feels like such a slap in the face at this point. And it definitely feels like he doesn't want me there. I'll try to talk to him to see what the real issue is, because downsizing seems like BS to me. We have a few more comments here and then an update. So relevant comments. Commenter number 1 downvoted. You're the a-hole. It's very inappropriate for you to manipulate someone into being in their wedding. It's immature to withdraw your offer of the venue because they can't afford much and didn't get your way. For their sakes, I hope they can find a new venue so they don't have to deal with you and your behavior, and they can exercise their justifiable right to not invite you. OP doesn't play well with others. OP, I don't really feel like I'm manipulating anyone. I figured my brother would want me there since we're family. It feels like he isn't telling me what the real reason is. He doesn't want me there, and if he doesn't want to treat me like family, I guess I feel like I can return the favor. Okay, that's a really good point. I don't know if I agree with that. It was a deal. A deal's a deal. Should have already been in the wedding. Commenter number 2, petty. It just like you should be. It was an agreement between the two of you. Venue rent-free, but you are a part of the wedding party. Your brother decided to punish you in the wrong way. As long as he took back his part of your contract, you are no longer forced to honor your part. But it's too late for them to find something. You should tell them that as long as your brother can't honor his part of your deal, you're okay for them to do the venue at the same place, but for X amount. Okay, payable right now because, well, the confidence is broken. That's a good point. Maybe it'll force your brother to tell you the real reason why he doesn't want you in his wedding anymore. So they're saving money already from going to the venue, then they're downsizing it. That makes no sense at all, really. Now I'm thinking about it. Because realistically, they're already saving half of the money from the venue. they'd be able to pour more money into like more food and stuff. Commenter 3. I'm curious, why didn't your brother ask you to be in the wedding to begin with? You say you made it a condition for him to use your property and he agreed. Why would it be a condition? If he didn't ask you even before the property was offered, why? Do you two not really get along or that close? What was this argument about? Now you say it wasn't a big deal, but maybe you don't think it was, but he does. What happened for him to make up that excuse, which you know is the deal, tells me he didn't want you in the wedding party to begin with. In regard, I don't blame you. I think you need to elaborate regarding your relationship with your brother. So we're getting into the update right now. Update September 6th.
Ooh.
That just happened.
That literally, what day is it?
It's the 16th.
Oh my God, it was 10 days ago.
That was 10 days ago.
This year's gone.
It's been a good year.
Yeah. It's been I think it's my best year yet.
Wow. I would say so too. I was having a hard time believing my brother when he told me they were downsizing the wedding party just to make it more intimate, but that's all he kept saying when I would ask him for the real reason.
That's annoying. He's trying to communicate and his brother's not even giving him the respect and decency to say, and I don't feel close to you. He could just say, like, I don't feel as close to you. And
Yeah, that's a good point. But the downsizing excuse to me doesn't make any sense because he is already saving so much money on the venue.
Yeah.
Why is he downsizing?
Exactly. What's you're not downsizing for costs.
And remember the little argument they had beforehand? Then the next day the brother asked him, hey, you're not in the wedding party. We're downsizing.
Just a little tiff.
But he didn't explain what it was. It was probably a bigger argument to the brother.
Probably. He probably took that more to heart.
I wish we could have him here right now. We could ask him.
I think it is really important to know what that argument was about because it could like
with the difference of
tilt
ages
into,
and maturity, it was probably bigger to the brother than it is to OP. I agree.
Yeah.
In all honesty, my brother and I aren't close, which I am sure is obvious from my last post. After my emotions settled down a bit, I told my brother I wanted to talk to him. He wasn't responding to me, so I said I wanted to talk to him about potentially letting them still use my vacation house.
Okay, so now he's kind of doubling back.
It's a bait. It feels like a bait.
OP's
I want to talk
baiting?
to you, but I'll give you the house if you come talk to me. It feels like a bait.
And also just the bit earlier where he was like, oh, yeah, my brother thinks I'm like super successful and he's like jealous because I'm always with these cool women and blah, blah, blah. I'm a little bit I don't know if I trust him as much anymore.
Yeah. And another point too, the brother will help out the parents because they seem like older.
Yeah.
With more time. And OP will pay them, like help them out, supporting them financially.
Oh, we learned that.
Yeah, we learned that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
That's a good catch though. He's still using the money.
Mm-hmm.
Not totally the truth, but it seemed like a good way to get him to talk.
Stop! This is your fault. Literally your fault.
Oh.
You're bribing him. This is why your relationship is crumbling. This is why he's a part of his groomsmen. Because you just keep bribing him.
Oh man, I bet whenever the brother was young, he'd always bribe him with like candy.
He's like, hey, can you do my chores?
Here's a Starburst.
Here's $1. Yeah.
Oh man. He finally responded, but said I couldn't come over and he would only meet me somewhere public, which seemed weird. We ended up meeting at a bar late last night that I like near my place, and I straight up just asked him why he was really kicking me out of his wedding, and I would only consider letting them use my vacation house if he told me the truth. He was getting pretty fidgety and looking away from me, and finally told me the truth. Whew. Apparently, his fiance heard that I may do a bit of Coca-Cola here and there for fun, and she told me that she didn't want a Coca-Cola head in her wedding. He said he actually kind of agreed with her and was disappointed in what I was doing. How else is he supposed to be a finance bro? How else is he supposed to fit in?
Everything I learned about OP is kind of crazy.
Just
it's
do
like,
one of these.
He's like, yeah, so like I bribed my brother to let him be to make me one of his groomsmen. And I'm like, I do a lot of, Coca-Cola and not great. Not great. It's not looking super good for him.
I told him if I'm too much of a Coca-Cola head to be there, then they really shouldn't want to use a Coca-Cola's house for their wedding, and I left because he might have Coca-Cola everywhere.
You know what? I'm kind of wondering if that argument was about this. About
Coca-Cola?
OP. Yeah. Like, was it OP using substances and the brother being like, hey, you should cut back? I think maybe everyone sucks here a little bit.
We got a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. So far.
I don't really see how it impacts them, what I do in my free time, but I really don't care to be there now if that's what they think of me.
Well, I mean,
I haven't said a word to him since, but I'm guessing I won't be hearing from them again soon. Little edit. That does impact them.
I do think that Coca-Cola has its own kind of like it's very different than how people view other substances. Like I feel like people, I mean, because it's become so widely used, it's much more common, and like people are like, oh yeah, that like they just do that. They just smoke weed. But with Coca-Cola, it's like, ugh. And so I can kind of see where they're coming from in the sense of like societally, societally people don't look at that too favorably. So they were like, we don't,
Yeah, because if it's the the brother's big day, Coca-Cola is going to be there. Just let me have a little bit of Coca-Cola. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, is this? I guess it really depends on OP's usage of it, I guess. Like, is he the type of person to bring it around people? Is that what they're worried about? If it's just his own recreational use and he's not spreading around, then that's his own thing.
Yeah. Comments. Oh, you must be a pug addict. I do Coca-Cola maybe a handful of times a year, recreationally, with some people that I party with. Obviously, this gossip traveled through the grapevine where circles overlapped and got to them somehow. I wasn't discovered because I'm an addict, like some have said. It's more common than you think. You'd be surprised who does it. That's what some people in the comments have said.
I don't know if that's necessarily the...
I don't know. Statistically, one of us has been doing it this whole time. Number 2, you must have a pug problem for them to react that way about it.
Oh.
My brother's fiance comes from a very religious and conservative family. They live right down the road from me. They think anyone that does hard pug must be a degenerate that is going to HE double hockey sticks. That's the funny part about her calling me a Coca-Cola head. Smack is whack. She clearly doesn't understand Coca-Cola is different, but I'm not going to go on a mission to educate her. That would be a waste of effort on my part. I don't know. You should probably take both of them to her and show her the differences.
You're like, no.
Take this one.
Test them
you
out.
feel this way.
Do a little tester.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Coca-Cola smack. You can be successful in life and recreationally use pugs. These two aren't mutually exclusive. Honestly, pretty much anyone I know that does Coca-Cola has plenty of money and a great job, or they marry someone rich / inherited money.
Well, yeah, it is. I think it is very much a thing that like very rich crowds will do. Like it just goes around and stuff.
Wolf of Wall Street was right. Does that mean I have to start doing Coca-Cola in order to
do that.
More financially more up there?
That's how it works. If you do it, you should know. No, it's don't do drugs, kids.
Final comments. Well, after scrolling through a decent amount of comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'm obviously a terrible douchebag with an enormous pug problem that only thinks about himself and is extremely conceited. Some parts of that may be true, but I do care about my family and trying to help my parents in the way I know how. For those of you that are familiar with
Fight Club,
we don't talk about that.
You're just waiting for me to read it.
I'm single, serving friend kind of person. I don't really get close with many people, and I have a hard time staying in one place. That's why I have a job where I need to travel all the time. I like the variety and the challenge of it. Settling down, having kids, and all that makes me super uncomfortable. Obviously, I'd be a terrible father, so there's no way I'll have kids. Snip, snip. My brother is a settle down kind of guy, and thinking about it, that's probably why he doesn't like me. I wanted to be the groomsman for him because I wanted to be a part of something in his life, but in a capacity I can handle. One last note, I've got awesome parents that love me for who I am, and they know I love them if I'm not around a ton. They worked super hard to raise us and give us everything we needed, and they came from a poorer background. I helped them how I know I can. Not everyone shows they care in the same way you do. So chill and don't think I'm such an ace because of my caring is mostly financial. Peace out, friends. Okay, so OP responds to one comment. I'll read this. I'm getting older. I'm seeing just how many people actually do Coca-Cola, and it's usually occasional, has completely changed my perspective. Also, Smack and Coca-Cola are very, very different. R.I.P. Whitney. That dumb arse reason, do they think you're going to be strung out during the wedding? They want the Coca-Cola head's rental property, but not the Coca-Cola head? It make sense, not the a-hole. OP, I use how you're describing. You're 100% correct. I don't touch Smack, just recreational Coca-Cola, and I am very functional in my life. He's defending himself.
Wait, I don't know much about Coca-Cola. What's recreational? Is he just saying I do it like less?
Remember when we went to Paris when all those people were dancing around and they were like,
yeah,
that's recreational.
Okay, so is he basically saying I'm not addicted, I'm just using it
to
a little
enhance
bit?
My
Experience.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what he meant by that.
Got you.
Probably not healthy, but I see it like alcohol. I'm not abusing it. I'm just doing it. So I'm doing okay.
Those ones are a little bit different.
My brother didn't say who they heard it from, but I could guess a handful of people that would be in a party group I hang out with. That news like that could travel from. If they didn't hear it through the grapevine, they never would have known. So I obviously wouldn't have gone to their wedding strung out. A pretty large number of people don't get that. You're absolutely right. There you go. That's the story.
He really didn't make me like him by the end, I will say. I think still probably I'm on the page of everyone sucks here just because you can't kick someone out of a wedding that they're giving you like a free place for. Mm-hmm. But also the way that OP was telling the story just did not make him look good.
Yeah, he definitely does seem. I was getting narcissistic vibes for sure.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, I'm so much richer than my family.
More successful.
Blah, blah, blah. He's jealous of me. And then like every time he was talking about, he was like, I'm not addicted. I'm not. Let me tell you more about this. And I was like, okay, dude. All right, dude. Yeah.